Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Daily Debate. My name is Ahmed Nader, and tonight we're going to focus on the Egyptian diplomacy and how the efforts of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, as well as the efforts of Foreign Minister Dr. Badr Abdulati, have managed to be de-escalating the situation and the tensions in the region, and more specifically during the war between the United States, Israel and Iran, and before that to be reaching a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip in the month of November of 2025. However, we'll be starting straight away with the main top stories for the day as they come through the presidential activities of President al-Sisi and Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati. As President al-Sisi received the phone call from the French President Emmanuel Macron. The phone call tackled the ways of boosting and strengthening the bilateral relations as well as the regional developments. During the phone call, President al-Sisi affirmed Egypt's appreciation for the comprehensive strategic partnership between Egypt and France and the growing momentum in relations between both countries. The President also praised the convergence of the positions between Egypt and France on issues of mutual concern. Al-Sisi also reviewed with Macron the Egyptian contacts to achieve comprehensive agreement between the United States and Iran and to de-escalate the tension in the region. For his part, the French President expressed his appreciation for President al-Sisi's efforts to boost the bilateral relations and achieve inclusive development in Egypt and restore stability and security in the region. And still with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who had held a meeting with the Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and the Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research, Dr. Abdel Aziz Qunsuwa. The meeting reviewed the vision of the ministry in the coming phase and the plans to turn Egypt into a regional and international hub for the higher education and scientific research. During the meeting, the Minister of Higher Education pointed out to the fact that Egypt has 129 state, private, national and foreign universities. President al-Sisi said that the efforts to develop the higher education and scientific research system will continue, adding that it is regarded as a pillar for building the Egyptian citizen and achieving sustainable development. He highlighted the pivotal role of the universities in boosting training programs and providing training programs to qualify the skills to meet the needs of the job market. Meanwhile, Foreign Minister Dr. Badr Abdulati heads to the South Korean capital, Seoul, to participate in the African-Korean ministerial meeting. The meeting comes within the framework of promoting the cooperation between the African countries and South Korea. During his visit to Seoul, Abdulati is to hold a number of meetings with the Korean senior officials to discuss means of enhancing the bilateral relations and exchanging viewpoints on the regional and the international issues. And Egypt condemned in the strongest terms the Israeli military escalation against the Lebanese territories and expanding ground incursion into South Lebanon. Egypt said that this dangerous escalation represents a complete violation to the Lebanese sovereignty and an open hostility that reveals the Israeli intentions to impose a new military presence on the ground, that it is a grave violation to the international law and the United Nations Charter. Egypt insisted on its categorical refusal to any violation to the Lebanese national territory, reiterating its support for the unity of the Lebanese state and its national institutions and territorial integrity, and demanding an immediate and full Israeli withdrawal from all the Lebanese lands and comprehensive implementation of the Security Council Resolution 1701 in all its clauses without selection, so that all the Lebanese institutions and the Lebanese army could fulfill their duties. And we will be heading to the first report of the daily debate for tonight, focusing on the efforts of Egypt to be de-escalating the situation and the tensions in the Middle East and the war between the United States, Israel and Iran, as well as not to be forgetting the whole situation and the implementation of the second phase of the Gaza Strip ceasefire. We'll be having more details in the upcoming report. Stay tuned.
Egypt has exerted and continues to exert relentless diplomatic efforts to halt escalation of U.S.-Israeli-Iranian war, positioning itself as a central pillar of regional stability and a consistent advocate for diplomacy over confrontation. From the earliest moments of the crisis, Cairo mobilized its political, diplomatic and strategic channels to prevent the conflict from spiraling into a full-scale regional war. Through continuous engagement with regional and international actors, Egypt has worked to contain tensions, bridge divisions and promote dialogue as the only viable path towards lasting peace. Its approach combines swift diplomatic action with a clear strategic vision rooted in preserving regional security, safeguarding Arab sovereignty and preventing further destabilization in an already volatile geopolitical landscape. Egypt is backing ongoing U.S.-Iran negotiations and is cautiously optimistic about the chances of a breakthrough in the coming days. Egypt's firm support for negotiations as the primary tool to diffuse regional tensions, noting that Egypt is strongly backing the diplomatic track between the United States and Iran. Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati has been conducting extensive regional and international talks to bridge differences, coordinating closely with regional partners including Qatar, Turkey and Pakistan. Abdelati was briefed by his Qatari counterpart on recent efforts to accelerate an agreement to end the current war and launch a negotiation process addressing security, political and economic concerns. The ministers underscored the importance of maintaining negotiating track to resolve the ongoing crisis and end the war, citing the severe security and economic repercussions it has generated regionally and internationally over the past 3 months. The two sides also expressed hope that current diplomatic efforts would yield an agreement capable of ending the war and opening what they described as a new phase in the region. They further stressed that any future agreement should take into account the security concern of Gulf states, which Egypt considers a cornerstone of Arab national security and regional stability.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and I'm honored to be having with me in the studio for tonight Engineer Hassan Shabaan, the political analyst and the former Vice Chairman of the Farmer Syndicate. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
Thank you for inviting me. Appreciate it.
Anytime. First of all, we have seen the latest top stories for today and the phone call conducted between both Presidents Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the French counterpart Emmanuel Macron. How do you see the importance of such a phone call being conducted at such a critical time in terms of the negotiations between the U.S. and Iran?
Well, it's been a while actually. Egypt and France are enjoying excellent relations. right now, actually.
Yes.
And President Macron was our guest in Egypt a few weeks ago.
Yes.
I think the close relationship between Egypt and France will actually result very fruitful results very soon, because France is taking a new line in politics, and finally one of the leading countries in Europe is changing the general public opinion in
Yes.
Europe about what's happening in the Middle East, and hopefully we will see positive results very soon for this.
How do you see the importance of boosting the bilateral relations? As you mentioned that the French president was here in Egypt for the past 2 to 3 weeks, inaugurating alongside President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi the Senghor University in Burj Al Arab in Alexandria Governorate. How do you see this momentum that we have witnessed under the tenure of both presidents?
Well, definitely, as I said, this is a very positive attitude, actually.
Yes.
And the body language for the president, the French president, actually was very clear that he's enjoying being in Egypt and surrounded with all this warm, receptions that he witnessed. I think Egypt and France are in the right direction, and France definitely is one of the leading countries in Europe. And it definitely, between what's happening in France and what's happening in Italy and what's going to happen in Germany, I think we will witness a lot of changes in the relationship between Europe and the United States.
Yes, Engineer Hassan Shabaan, please allow me to be going for a break, and we'll be returning once again to you on the Daily Debate. Stay tuned.
سيد الرئيس
الله أكبر الله